Hello everyone, in this video we're going to show you how to paint and edit um, hidden and hard to reach areas of a given model. Now this is a response to a forum post here by Director12, who apparently is a newbie. Says, Dave, I'd love to see a tutorial video demonstrate how to paint on intricate surfaces when doing human textures such as ears, eyes, legs, etc. I know we can isolate body parts a bit better. There's no option to single those parts out if all I want to know one leg at a time. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yes, there are several options at your disposal for doing this sort of thing, and I'm going to take you through them and show you how they work. Now, first off, the most primitive, simple way of isolating a particular body part is to make a selection and then merely paint on that selection and omitting everything else that's not selected. So let me show you how that works. So let's just say, for example, we want to paint on this leg but not that leg. Okay, so what we can do is we go to selection tools, and I'm going to say a picker, and I'm going to select by group in this case because I know that the this particular model has different groups for different body parts. These are the groups as defined in the OBJ file. Okay, so I'm going to click on here and I'm going to select these groups. Now you see I'm going to hit a shift space and I get my hot selection view. So that's just going to permanently show me the selection values on here. Now red is being fully selected. Now so I clicked on those and that's a really hard selection. If you notice here I have, okay, at this point I want to use select vertices, not polygons. Okay, and now I'm going to hit the S key a few times and soften this boundary, so that way I'm going to keep hitting it like that. So that way when I do the paint, I'm not going to get this hard edge, and it's just going to have a nice transition. I'm just going to use a solid color, but if you're using a skin texture or something like that, this will be a nice way of blending that the color from one region to the next. Okay, so anyway, so now that that selection is made, if I apply a paint stroke and I'll shift space again to get rid of that, first you'll notice this area is much lighter than this area. This is illustrating the selection values while still simultaneously showing the textures, right? So if you notice, here is the hot selection view, and there is the texture view with the darker shading. Okay, so now I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to paint on this leg, but first I'm going to do it in a certain way. I'm going to do it like this. Okay, and I'm going to now say I'm going to paint some black pants. Really simple, primitive something or the other, right? Now, okay, if you notice this, hang on, wait. Nah, way ahead of myself. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay, here we go. I'm doing the paint stroke, and you'll notice that's little jaggedy part here. Now I'm going to go over here, and you see this. Now that was the hidden surface, and that was omitted from the paint stroke because when your paint brush has the hidden surface removal set to per vertex, that means if a vertex is hidden behind a surface, it won't be affected. All right, so it gets removed, it gets culled, and this prevents you from painting on stuff you don't want to paint on. But in this case, we already made that selection, and we want this paint to go on that pant leg no matter what. So I'm going to undo, okay, and I'm going to set this hidden surface removal to none. Now I'm going to do the same paint stroke. And tell you the truth, I'm going to do this up here. I want to get that toe as well. Now paint, here we go. Let's go and paint everything. Bingo. Now you notice that jaggedy is not there, and you notice the paint went right through to that leg and only to that leg. So this is a great way of isolating that part and having this smooth transition, because notice it was a soft selection. I hit that S key a whole bunch of times, and you notice how this area is transitioned nicely from here to here. It's not just black and then gray. Okay, so this is the first way of, again, isolating a body part or any part of a model which is a little intricate and hard to get to. All right, so I'm going to undo this and clear that selection. And the second way is if we do hide and unhide the selected surface. So if I go to edit, you'll see a hide selected surface and unhide all. All right, so it's kind of just an on or off sort of thing. This is something you only want to use for one-off sort of situations. So what I'm going to do is say selection tools, picker, group. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Let's just do this leg, right? But in this case, the soft selection doesn't mean anything. It's either hidden or it's not. So I'm not going to bother hitting that S key, right? But what I am going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, Select, Invert. That means I'm just going to make everything else selected but that area that was before. So you can always bind these to hotkeys if you're using them on a regular basis too. You can right-click and say Assign Hotkey, and use the keys that you're most familiar with. But anyway, I digress. Now what I'm going to do is Edit, Hide Selected Surface. Right? Now at this point, I can go and I can paint this leg any number of ways I want, and I don't have to worry about the hidden surface removal as before mentioned. I can just paint and do whatever. And so let's just do here, paint, and I'm just for the sake of argument, I'm going to put that per vertex back on. And then you're going to notice that when I go around the back here, it's not painted, so I'm going to paint this. And and because I have the per vertex, you'll notice those little bits inside the toe are not getting painted. So essentially think of these toes as the leg, where if you want to paint inside these toes, you can do the exact same thing, just on a per toe basis, right? And then but anyway, for now, I will just do none, just so the paint goes straight through those toes to both sides. And we're just doing a simple demonstration. And there we go, we have painted that whole leg. Now if you say Edit, Unhide All, it's going to say unhide the hidden display groups as well. That is the topic I'm about to get to. So for now we're going to say no, we just want to unhide the things that were hidden from when we said hide selected surface. We don't want to mess with the display groups, so no. Okay. Now we go back here and we notice the leg has been painted, this one has not been, and we notice a hard boundary. So what you might want to do is, if you're using this technique, is just to avoid that area. You just kind of paint up to here, like and then when you show everything again, you'll just won't have this hard boundary. Now we're going to show you the preferred technique for doing complex sort of hidden surface management. Is we're going to be using display groups. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to use the head as an example. This is the best because it has the most amount of hidden geometry to access. So if I go into the manager, I'll notice I have a display group section, and I already have a group called transparent stuff, which I made, which has the portions of the model which were made for transparent overlays. So they're already hidden. But I'm going to create a new one with all of the sort of skin in the head and neck area, so I can easily access the inside of geometry of the head, like the inner mouth and the eyeballs. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to do Selection Tools, Picker. In this case, it makes more sense generally to do Polygon Selection because it's just a little more intuitive that way. And I'm going to select it by material. Okay, this is important here because if you select by group, a lot of that hidden stuff is going to be in the same group as the skin that we're trying to hide. So anyway, I'm going to select it by material, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to, so I just did the skin texture, the face skin texture that is. Now I'm going to do the lips. Now I'm going to do this part, which I believe is associated with the back of the head. Yes, and I'm going to now do the neck as well. And just to get rid of everything, I can get the torso skin as well. And now I'm going to put all of this into a display group, which I can hide away or I can show at any given time. So I go to Manager, Display Groups, and now that's all selected, I'm going to create a display group. Now that takes that selection and turns it into a display group, and I'm going to now rename that. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call this Skin Hide. Okay, so now if I notice here, whoops, I shouldn't do that. I'm going to set this state to hidden and take a look. Now you see what happens here is that it's hidden all of those polygons and exposed the ones that are behind it. In this case we have eyeballs, we have this inner mouth, we have nostrils, and so on and so forth. And so now I'm going to Control U to get rid of the selection. Now taking a look here, So if you wanted to paint the tongue, for example, you can go in there and see that's where the tongue is, right? So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to I'm going to say Selection Tools, Picker, and I'm going to select this tongue. And now my end goal is to be able to paint the tongue and nothing but the tongue here. So I'm going to select this tongue, and I'm going to make a display group from that as well. So a manager, display group, I'm going to say create display group, and I'm going to call this tongue. Now, you might say, okay, well, how do I want to see the tongue and nothing but the tongue? Well, you have this default display group called all polygons. That's everything in the whole scene. So I'm going to go to this and make it hidden. So I'm going to hide everything, and then I'm going to go to the tongue, and I'm going to make it visible. So notice how everything else is hidden with this little eyeball with the line through it, except the tongue, and there the tongue is. So I can go here, and I can paint on that tongue all I want, and then when I'm done, I can just simply turn this back to all visible. And there we go. And you notice how that transparent stuff came back as well, these transparent overlays. So I want to hide that again. Hidden. There we go. So those are the three techniques you have for accessing hard to reach geometry. You have making a selection and then painting on that selection only. You can do the edit, hide selected surface, unhide all. This is best for one-offs, like you're just going to do it once, you're not going to do it again, so you don't want to go through the effort of making a display group. And the third is making a display group, which has a little bit of upfront investment, but if you're going to be coming back to it at any time in the future, it's best to take 30 seconds, a minute or so to set up those display groups so you can easily manage these hidden geometries. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, this was the response to a forum post, so if you have a really good question on the forum, I will personally make a video to show you, to answer your question and to show you how things are done. So your participation is greatly appreciated, and thank you very much for watching this video, and we hope to have a lot more coming up soon. So please keep engaged, go to the forum, ask the questions, we'll make the videos. Okay, bye for